Man, we all know that saying of, or how people will often say, be grateful to be alive. I don't think I've ever felt that more than the way I feel it now. So it's winter break time now, have a good 3 weeks away from school. And I'm from Maryland, so I'm here in Maryland now. So this day started off like really any other day, you know what I mean? I woke up relatively late, nothing new. And I went to my house, I'm the RA of my house, and I cleaned up, and got everything finalized before I left. And I felt pretty normal, you know what I mean? I didn't eat. I had a little bit of, what's that one drink that Logan Paul made? Like it's supposed to be similar to Gatorade or whatever. Prime? Yeah, there you go, Prime. I had a little bit of Pride earlier on in the afternoon, but I didn't eat any food. And I guess that's what's going to come to, or you guys will see that's what came to haunt me later on. So yeah, I'm going to the airport and I feel completely fine, and I had to take 2 planes to get here to Maryland, one from Grand Rapids to Chicago, then Chicago to DC, Washington Dulles Airport. And again, I was feeling really fine, you know what I mean? I got on the first plane from Grand Rapids to Chicago and I was doing completely fine. I didn't have any sign of what was to come later. But it was when I got on that second plane, man, that's when it got real. That's when I experienced something that I never experienced in my life before. So I got on the plane and I believe 30 minutes go by and I eventually fall asleep, I used to have a big phobia of planes because I think the first time I rode a plane was when I was 3 years old, and the second time wouldn't come until I was a freshman in college. The winter break of freshman year of college, when riding back with my friend Ovas, I was just in fear the entire time. But thankfully, as time has gone by, I'm not really afraid of planes anymore, so much so to where I even prefer to sit by the window, which for me is huge. I've really come a long way. So yeah, I'm on the plane and I'm sitting by the window, and then I eventually fall asleep. I don't even recall how or when I fell asleep, but I fell asleep at some point. I believe it was when there was 30 minutes had gone on in the flight. So then out of nowhere, I wake up, and mind you, it's nighttime outside. I wake up and I feel a little bit nauseous, but this is nothing new to me. I felt nauseous so many prior times in my life, so this was not anything new. But as the seconds went by, bro, that nausea started to get worse. It started to intensify to a degree I've never felt in my life before. It was I felt nauseous in my chest and my stomach, but it was I could feel it throughout my whole body. So I forgot to mention earlier, but when I first got onto this plane, this is my second flight, by the way, from Chicago to DC. There's a Hispanic lady sitting next to me, and she was asking me, I think she was asking me for the Wi-Fi. She doesn't speak English, so it was kind of hard for me, of course, to interpret what she was saying. But what I'm saying, your boy took Spanish 2 this last semester, so I was able to pick up on a few words. That's I feel proud about that. I'm not even gonna lie. But all that to say, that lady is important for this story, which I'll bring up eventually. So yeah, I started feeling really nauseous, and then what followed after that were feelings I've never felt in my entire life. The nausea was a little bit, but then it started picking up. Then I started to get, what's the word, really delirious. But it was again, I've never felt like that in my life. And then I started sweating, but I was freezing cold, and I've never had a cold sweat in my life. I know that's a thing, but I've never experienced it before. So then this is going, and again, these 2 symptoms are ramping up. It feels as the seconds are going by, the worse it's getting. So then what follows after this, the worst symptom I have, I look up, and bro, I could not see. When I tell you I couldn't see, everything was blurry. You ever seen in the movies when someone's about to pass out, and from their point of view it's all white, and they can't distinguish any faces? That's literally what happened to me, bro. I looked up, and everything was extremely bright, and I could not distinguish any facial features at all. And I've never passed out in my life before, and that's what was about to happen. So I was scared. So some more time goes by, and I lose complete voluntary control over my body. I said that lady earlier on was gonna be important, and she was, because so she was sitting to my right here, right, and then I lose complete control over my body, and I just completely fall onto her lap. I lose all control. And mind you, during all of this, I was aware. I was as aware as I am when recording this video, but I just had no control whatsoever. So I fall on her, and you know, God bless this lady, man. I wish I could have some kind of way to find her and just thank her and talk to her, but rather than like pushing me away or being rude, she like fully embraced me, bro. Like grabbed my head and put it on her shoulder, then was holding me, and she was like feeling my palms, and she saw how sweaty I was. So then she was like offering for me to take my shirt off because I was like sweating profusely, and wow, man, that's crazy. Like, damn. Like the sweat that came it was all of a sudden. It didn't build up. It was like boom, I was just sweating. So she was offering to take my shirt off. I don't even fully remember. I remember my shirt being lifted up to like the top of my stomach, but I know I didn't take it off completely. So then I don't even, like, man, so much of this is so faint to me, but she calls one of the flight attendants over. I believe that's what must have happened, because you know, I looked and the flight attendant was there, and then they were feeding me water. Or not feeding me water, feeding not the right word, they were giving me water to drink, I should say. But while all this is going on, bro, you know, man, I really thought I was gonna die. While all this was going on, I really thought I was gonna die, because again, I've never been in that vulnerable of a situation before. I've never fainted. I've never lost my consciousness. Like, I thought I was gonna die, bro, because as the minutes were going by, I could feel like my consciousness fading away from me. Like, I don't know how one would explain this scientifically or by whatever means are available, but I was literally using my will to keep myself conscious. Like there was something within me that I was fighting to stay awake, bro. So yeah, I mean, I thought I was gonna die, and in my head I was thinking about so many things. I was thinking about, how's my mom gonna react to this? How are the people around me gonna react to this? What about all the sins that I've done, bro? I need to communicate with God. I need to ask for forgiveness, bro. And it's funny because I'm laughing right now, but like, when this was happening, bro, I wasn't even able to communicate. I wasn't laughing at all. The flight attendants came and they were asking me how old I was and what's my name, and I literally could not communicate with them, bro. Like, I was fully aware as I am right now, but I could not communicate with them. So yeah, they're asking me how old I am, and I'm like, bro, I can't talk. So I think when they asked me how old I was, I went like that, like 22. And then this is the part that saved me, man. This is the part that I've thought about this maybe like every 2 hours since this happened. This incident happened 2 days ago. I think it's the 18th when I'm recording this video. Yeah, so the 16th, December 16th is when this happened. So what really saved me, like you guys know, like how on the planes they have the oxygen masks that are up top. They dropped one of the oxygen masks, and the lady went to the back and she got like a whole like aluminum color oxygen tank, and she like she put it onto the mask thing I was wearing. So now I had oxygen at that point. And as I got the oxygen, that's when my vision started to come back, and that's when my consciousness was more intact. I was able to see now, and I was able to communicate to a minimal degree. So at this point, you know, there are like 40 minutes. Actually, there's 40 minutes left in the flight. And it's interesting, the plane was considering making an emergency landing, but they were too far from the airport in Chicago and were closer to the airport in DC. So the smarter choice for them was to, you know, go to the DC airport. So 40 minutes are left. Like, they got me orange juice and some crackers, and like, that's when like I started shaking, because I was cold, mind you. So I was shaking, I was shivering, I had no control of my body, man. That's definitely the most physically vulnerable I've been in my whole life. So then the flight attendants are asking, they're like, hey, is there a doctor on board? Is there a doctor on board? And the first person who stood up was one lady who was a med student. But then there was an actual doctor on the flight, thank God. So she came to me and she started checking my vitals. She checked my pulse, but the plane was like shaking so much to the degree where she wasn't able to like feel my pulse. But then over time, I guess she was able to feel it, and my heart rate was really low. I think it was like 52. Yeah, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was 52 beats per minute. And what's normal for a heart rate is 60 to 100. So yeah, your boy was down bad. And then, you know, she put the blood pressure cuff around me and my blood pressure was super low. It's crazy, man. Like, I really thank God that I'm alive, man. Like, if that oxygen mask wasn't there, I don't think I would have been able to continue to fight to stay awake, man. But anyways, about 40 minutes go by, and then we finally touch the ground. And at this point, I'm still shaking. Like, I'm just in shock over what's happening to me. And I'm thinking to myself, like, am I about to die, man? And like, I even thought at one point, am I about to get a seizure? Because I mean, I've never had a seizure as well, but my head was hurting in a different kind of way that it never has hurt before, and it felt so fuzzy. So I was thinking to myself, damn, am I about to get a seizure? So it was very uncertain what was gonna happen. Again, the most vulnerable I've ever been. So then the plane eventually lands, and at this point, you know, the oxygen they gave me helped significantly. You know, if I didn't have that, I would not be surprised if I wouldn't be here right now recording this video. So yeah, the plane lands, and as soon as the plane lands, the paramedics are at standby. And you know, earlier on when I was having that whole scene on the plane, everybody on the plane was looking at me, you know. The people who were to my right were looking at me, the people who were to my left, the people in the front turned around and were looking at me. Like, it was a whole scene, man. Like, but at that point when I was dying, like, I did not care whatsoever about who was looking at me. I was literally just trying to stay alive, man. Like, man, that's crazy, man. But again, yeah, my consciousness started coming intact, and the paramedics were waiting. And it's crazy because, like, once I got my consciousness intact, that's when I was able to more so realize the reality of the situation, or I should say the reality of how many people were staring at me, even more than when I was, you know, feeling like I was about to die. So then the paramedics come on the plane, and first they have a wheelchair for me, you know. They made everybody on the plane stay seated, so I would be the first one to get off. And yeah, the paramedics were there with the wheelchair. So then I got on the wheelchair, bro, and this is like, I didn't feel embarrassment again when I was being looked at while I was dying, but this is where it was like, damn, and everybody's looking at me, bro. So then I'm on the wheelchair, and they're like scooting me out, and then everybody's looking at me, and I have my head down. And I'm not gonna lie, like, of course it was a serious situation, but I was trying so hard not to laugh. Like, I don't know what was funny about that situation. Nothing really was, but just the fact that everybody was looking at me, I just had my head down like this, and I was just trying not to laugh, man. So yeah, they get me off the plane, and they put me on a stretcher. And the paramedics were so nice, man. They did an EKG as soon as we got into the airport in a private room, and they put me in the back of the ambulance. And you know, when I was in the ambulance, I was thinking, like, dang, man, like, don't ambulances cost so much money? Like, this is I'm sorry to my parents if they have to pay for this, but I think my insurance covers this, so I think we're all Gucci. But we get to the hospital now, and I didn't know this, but my dad had been, well, I guess I did know this, but I wasn't able to respond to him. My dad had been waiting at the airport for me for over an hour. He had been calling me and texting me, but of course I couldn't respond because I thought I was about to lose my life. So yeah, we get to the hospital, and they tell me, basically after waiting, they took blood and all that I was just extremely dehydrated. And you know, looking at this, I think this was a result of the way I've been living my life for the past 2 weeks. Many of you who are in college know, and of course everyone who goes to Hope knows, that finals week just happened. And finals, this was the most taxing, most gruesome, I don't even know if gruesome is the right word, the most brutal finals week I've had in my life, without a doubt. Like, I'd be sleeping like, what, a max of 2-3 hours for the past 2 weeks, and then getting up and studying or doing assignments, or, you know, even trying to record videos. The latter days of finals week, I kind of stopped recording just because I needed to really focus on my philosophy capstone in Spanish. But yeah, man, like, it was crazy. I was hardly sleeping. I was taking naps on the floors of classrooms. I was hardly eating. I was not drinking at all. So I think an accumulation of that, all the exhaustion, pushing like really hard, that I guess that caught up to me in the high elevation. But what's crazy to me is how, like, I've been in this, you know, for the past 4 years, I think I've had brutal finals weeks every time. This one was the most brutal, but not by a long shot, you know what I mean? The fact that I had like that severe of a reaction, like, I'm still baffled by how that's the case. And it's crazy because I'm not gonna lie, bro, I haven't even like fully recovered. Like, at the time of me recording this video right now, like, I feel a little like delirious still, like a little bit dizzy, and my head kind of hurts to a certain degree. But I thank God that I made it out there alive, man. Like, I literally thought I was going to die, man. Like, I've never felt something like that in my life, and what I experienced on that plane, I would not wish upon anybody, man. So yeah, that's the story time. I think the lessons I took from this is, just take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Self-care is one of those things that gets talked about a lot, especially where I go to school. And I think it gets talked about so much to where we kind of let it brush by us, where we don't pay attention to us. It seems oftentimes when something is mentioned a lot, we kind of forget the importance of it. What I'm really trying to prioritize this break, other than making videos, is just taking care of myself, man. Like just eating good, sleeping good, meditating, working out, just replenishing my body, nourishing my mind, my body, and my soul, man. Because God knows that incident on the plane made it very evident that I need all of that, especially the physical replenishment. And also, I think I realized even further to just not take life for granted, I should say, man. Like on that plane, man, I literally could have gone, man. It just makes me so grateful to have the resources that I have. Like if I was in a more undeveloped part of the world and say they didn't have oxygen masks or something like that, if it wasn't a plane and they didn't have oxygen masks, like that could have been my life right there, you know what I mean? So man, it's just amazing. I thank God that I'm still here, and it really shows me that at any time your time can come, you know what I mean? I woke up earlier on in that day thinking that I was gonna have a smooth flight home, and that I was gonna walk out the door and then walk into the door in my house. But that could have been it for me, and that's the case for a lot of people who leave this world, you know what I mean? Like they wake up thinking they're gonna have a normal day, they're gonna go to the store, they're gonna go to work, go to the gym, but at some point that gets interrupted, and their time is here, they're gone. So I think that has really helped me these past 2 days, see the importance of every day and every single moment, you know what I mean? For you never know when your time is coming, man. So yeah, that's the end of the story, man. Yeah, again, I just thank God that I'm here, and I'm really gonna work to take care of myself, and I encourage you all to do that. I hope and I pray, especially for the people who are in college, that that's what you take the most out of this video, that self-care is crucial, man, if you want to keep going. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe to your boy, and I'll see y'all soon.